In the Venetian lagoon between Venice and Lido sits a small, forsaken island shrouded in darkness and whispers of the dead. This is Poveglia Island, a place with a history so terrifying that locals refuse to set foot on its shores. Poveglia's harrowing story begins in the year 421, when people fled to this island to escape the barbarian invasions. Centuries later, it became a quarantine zone for the bubonic plague. The soil of Poveglia became a mass grave as tens of thousands of bodies were burned on giant pyres. But the island's darkest chapter was yet to come. In 1922, a psychiatric hospital was built on Poveglia. It was here that the tormented screams of the patients were confined within these walls, many of whom were subjected to horrifying experiments and lobotomies by a doctor who was driven by a twisted fascination with the island's macabre history. The doctor, it is said, was haunted by the anguished spirits of the plague victims. Driven to madness, he climbed the hospital's bell tower and threw himself to his death. However, some say he was pushed by an unseen force, and on a still night, the bell can still be heard tolling across the lagoon, even though it was removed decades ago. Those who have dared to visit Poveglia speak of an oppressive atmosphere, an unshakable feeling of being watched, and the sensation of being touched or pushed by invisible hands. Ghost hunters and paranormal investigators have reported disturbing visions and captured unexplained electronic phenomena. The island is off-limits to visitors, but that hasn't stopped the curious and the brave from seeking its haunted shores. Many have returned with tales of overwhelming dread, sudden drops in temperature, and haunting cries that pierce the silence of the night. Poveglia Island remains a monument to suffering and death, a cursed place that has been abandoned by the living but is said to be crowded with the souls of the dead. It's a place where the veil between this world and the next is thin, where the echoes of the past are a little too loud, and where the darkness feels alive. As night falls on Poveglia, the lost souls of history awaken, and the living are reminded that some places are touched by something beyond our understanding, something that doesn't wish to be disturbed. For those who've glimpsed its horrors, one thing is certain: the lights will stay on tonight. Poveglia Island, a blight on the beauty of Venice, a place where history's darkest moments refuse to die. Remember, some places are best left to the spirits that claim them, and some stories are best left untold. In the heart of Old Town San Diego stands a house that whispers tales of the past, a structure that holds within its walls the echoes of tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural. Welcome to the Whaley House, a historic residence that's been named the most haunted house in America. Built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley on land that was partially a former graveyard, the house has been a silent witness to a saga of human experience. Before the Whaleys moved in, the land saw the hanging of Yankee Jim Robinson, a drifter who was caught stealing a boat and was executed on the very spot where the house now stands. It wasn't long before the Whaleys felt the presence of an unseen guest. Heavy footsteps echoed through the halls, attributed to the ghost of Yankee Jim, whose spirit was said to be eternally restless, forever entwined with the sight of his untimely demise. The Whaley House was more than a family home. It served as San Diego's first commercial theater, the county courthouse, and Thomas Whaley's general store. But tragedy seemed to follow the Whaleys. Their young son, Thomas Jr., died of scarlet fever in the house, and years later, their daughter Violet took her own life, heartbroken and despairing. Visitors and staff have reported encounters with the spirits of the Whaley family. The pitter-patter of small feet, believed to be the ghost of Thomas Jr., the apparition of Violet sorrowfully wandering, and even sightings of Anna Whaley, the family matriarch, have been documented. The house's theater is a hotspot of paranormal activity. The ghost of a young girl, thought to be one of the Whaleys' nieces who lived with them, has been seen floating through the room. Some have heard the disembodied sounds of a guitar strumming, laughter and applause, remnants of the entertainment that once filled the space. The courthouse, where many criminals were tried, is heavy with the energy of justice and retribution. The air is thick, the atmosphere charged with the weight of the past. It's here that the figure of Thomas Whaley himself has been seen, overseeing the property in the afterlife as he did in life. The Whaley House stands today as a museum, its doors open to those who seek to understand the mysteries of the past. But beware, for not all is at rest in this historic dwelling. The Whaleys may have left this world, but their spirits remain, ever present, ever watchful. The Whaley House, a landmark of history and hauntings, invites the curious to walk its haunted halls, to listen for the whispers of the past, and to witness that which cannot be easily explained. Visit if you dare, but you may find that long after you leave, the spirits of the Whaley House will linger in your thoughts, a haunting memory that refuses to fade into the shadows of history. If you want to hear more unsettling stories based around true events, make sure to like and subscribe.